It's arguable that healthcare today is one of the biggest issues facing the country, not because it's one of the biggest problems per se, but because Obamacare is directly threatening the liberty of our people. But before we go into the specifics of healthcare and Obamacare, we should first address this issue by teaching people about the fundamental role of government. Giving them that foundation will truly help them see what we are wanting to do, what we are proposing, and why, on all of our positions with every political issue. So first, let me begin by talking about the fundamental role of government as conservative Republicans and liberal Democrats see it. Conservative Republicans believe that the fundamental role of government is to protect the God-given rights of its citizenry, like the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Generally speaking, this means protecting our citizens from foreign enemies, terrorists, murderers, rapists, etc. We also believe it's the government's job to allow for a free market economy, a fair free market economy. And when we say fair, by the way, we mean making regulations to prevent cheaters, scammers, and con artists from thriving. After all, it's far easier to con somebody out of their money by saying your product is something that it's not, than to actually make an extraordinary product that improves people's lives. That's, of course, very hard. So in order for honest businesses to do well, we must have regulations in order to minimize the victimization of consumers. To the Republican, those are the two main roles: protection of its people and promotion of a fair free market economy. To the liberal, however, they believe that the sole purpose of government is to provide for its people. Elizabeth Warren was at the Democrat National Convention back in 2012, and she said in a speech that the American people believe the system is rigged against them. And you know what? They're right. And it's exactly this strategy that they use, this kind of hopelessness, this idea that the average person can't make it on their own, is exactly what the Democrats want to instill in the minds of the American people. They emotionally and spiritually try to beat them down so they can then tell them, that's okay though, because we're here. Just vote for us and we'll take care of you. The Democrats do truly wish to be the source of their voters' daily sustenance. Do you need a car? Cash for clunkers. Do you need money? Welfare checks. Do you need food? Food stamps. A house? Subprime mortgage. Healthcare? Obamacare. You can go on forever listing things like this. And it upsets us as Republican voters when we see people like John McCain, George Bush, and other Republicans trying to get in on this. This is exactly what the fight on healthcare is all about. Conservative Republicans want healthcare to be more affordable and accessible. Democrats want to be in control of the production, the distribution, the exchange of our healthcare system. That's why there cannot be a compromise on this issue. The goal of the Democrats is diametrically opposed to the fundamental principles of our Constitution. Instead, we need to make the American people aware of the fact that the Democrats want to control healthcare. Point out the failures of Obamacare and centralized economics. And finally, tell them what our plans are. Give examples of how our ideas have succeeded here and around the world. You've heard from Republicans over and over again that we just need to let Obamacare implode and just be patient for now. But why waste the golden opportunity? Why stand by when we should be ripping this bill to shreds and pointing out that the Democrats wasted all of their supermajority time to deliver a plan that the American people opposed and are now only being harmed by? After shedding light on what the Democrats have done, in the next breath we need to be offering our own solutions with passion, optimism, and explaining how our ideas will empower the individual and not the politician. There's no shortage of ideas on how to improve our healthcare system. I personally favor eliminating the regulations of selling insurance across state lines and having legal reform, often known as tort reform. These two ideas alone would substantially decrease premiums and reduce the number of uninsured, not because we are buying health insurance for them or giving it to them, but now because they can afford it on their own. Now, you may be curious as to why I haven't said much about Representative Stewart up to this point, and it's very simple because he and I are really almost on the exact same page with this particular issue. However, I am a little different in the way I would have spoken out about the website and stories of lost coverage in October. Right under this video, there's a link that will show you him on the House floor, talking about the American people being hurt by the law, and then saying that the president needs to fulfill his promise and allow people to keep their plan. Now, this isn't a bad thing to say. My only problem with it is that by saying the president needs to keep his promise implies to voters listening that it's possible for him to keep his promise. But Obamacare and the private sector insurance cannot peacefully coexist. It's not possible. Personally, I would have gone the route of telling the American people that Obamacare is an unmitigated disaster and should serve as an example of why we should never let the government control our personal life decisions, of which healthcare is only one. You'll have to decide for yourself which approach more accurately reflects your own personal views, but I would remind you that the people who needed to hear what Representative Stewart said never got the chance, because he never actually said any of it on a national network. But Utah's 2nd District can have someone who will articulate these ideas to the American people. With your support, I'll make our ideas known and persuade a greater number of American voters to join us in our cause. Thank you.